Welcome back. Here we are now at day number 4. If you remember, day 3 was all about taking action. And a lot of the actions that you wrote down and that you're working on, hopefully even starting today or even starting yesterday, are going to be at some point outside of your comfort zone. And when things are outside of your comfort zone, it produces something that we call fear. So we want to talk about how to face your fears and understanding fear to make sure that fear does not stop you. And that's one thing you have to realize first and foremost, is that all successful people, when you go out and look at the people who have already achieved the big things that maybe you're aspiring to be like those people, they have faced their own set of fears. They're not immune to fear. You're not unnatural for experiencing fear in the state you're in right now. You have to realize first and foremost that it's normal. And when you realize that it's normal, you can begin to plan how to face those fears and, more importantly, how to deal with them so they don't stop you. Make the decision right now that fear is not going to stop you so you can move forward with confidence, even though fear is still going to be part of the equation. In order to handle fears or face our fears and move through them, we need to understand what it really is. Ultimately, fear is a response from our brain trying to keep us safe, alerting us of pending danger. And a lot of the time we can perceive certain situations as fearful, even though they may not be dangerous to our lives, we may experience it as though it is. So let's take two different examples. One, you're driving down the highway, you're going quite fast, let's say 70 miles an hour, somebody cuts you off and you have to immediately slam on your brakes to prevent getting in a major collision. The whole thing happens really quickly, your heart is pounding, your pulse is racing, you pull over, you're sweating, whatever happens, your palms are sweaty, and you take a moment to gather yourself, but you're experiencing the physical sensations of fear, of terror, whatever you want to call it. That is a real physical response. You might feel the exact same response in your body, physical sensations in your body, when you step into a boardroom or in front of a conference room full of people if you're not accustomed to public speaking. The exact same physical sensations may hit your body as though you were about to have your life threatened, even though you're only speaking in front of a room. Now, understand the difference here. One is a fear response protecting your life. The other is a fear response simply out of a comfort zone. If you can learn to distinguish between the two and accept the fact that these are simply physical sensations from my brain producing a response that's supposed to protect me. Now, in this situation, I'm conscious and aware enough to know that my life isn't in danger, so I can learn to practice moving through these physical sensations. I can learn to deal with the fear, and that's literally all it takes. Now, it doesn't happen easily. You have to make this a deliberate practice. So if you have a real problem with something like public speaking, it's going to take work. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to happen overnight, but now you understand the process. Now you understand the difference between a real threat and one that's more imagined and produced by your brain. Check out Susan Jeffers' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and that'll be a great launch point for you to do this. However, even before you do that, let's look at this week's exercises. Exercise 1. For your breakthrough goal, most importantly, or even any short-term or long-term goals that you wrote down in week 2, look at those, examine them, and start thinking about any fears that you have about taking action towards those goals. Write them down and become conscious of them. Exercise 2, for each fear that you write down, take a moment to sit down and think to yourself, what is the worst possible outcome that could happen if I do take this action, if I do face this fear? Take it to the edge and actually examine how bad it could really get. For example, I'm terrified of public speaking. Well, ask yourself, why? Well, because I might get up in front of everybody and not know what to say, or I might get up in front of everybody and say the wrong thing and embarrass myself. Okay, and then what? Well, then I'll just be really embarrassed and I won't want to face those people and it'll be really uncomfortable. Well, then what? Well, then I'll just move on. So you begin to realize what these fears actually mean. Exercise 3, ask yourself this important question. Is the potential risk of what I'm fearing worth facing to reap the reward of what I can potentially gain on the end of this? Most cases, the answer is going to be yes, so all you need to do is accept it and move through that fear starting today. Remember that great quote from T. Harv Eker, if it's not going to kill you, do it.